Thank you. Thank you so much, Rich. Thank you all for being here. We're going to speed talk. Okay. I am Tommy Tavares Ferreira. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Law Trades. And for those of you who do not know the television show Hacks, you're about to learn about it in 30 seconds. Hacks is about a legendary Vegas comedian named Deborah. She pairs up with an out-of-work writer named Ava. They're from very different generations. But the thing about their relationship is that Ava can write like nobody else for Deborah. She can write the jokes, and the reason why is because she sees Deborah. She really sees what Deborah can offer, and she knows her very, very well. And the thing about that is that it is exactly like legal operations. We see the way the legal department runs. We can write the script for legal operations like nobody else because we know the department intimately. We know how to get legal expertise out to the business. So what Adam and I are going to do for you today is through 4 seasons of Hacks, the show, we're going to explain some of the legal operations hacks that you can take back to your departments. Take it away, Adam.
All right. Speed time, 4 seasons, technically 5, but 4 are done, and there will be spoilers, so I apologize ahead of time.
Spoiler alert.
The theme of season 1 is that this is all new. So what happens in season 1? Ava shows up at Deborah's very fancy house to go through what we would call onboarding, and it is a hot train wreck of a mess. Everybody hates her. Nobody wants her there. They start telling her what she's going to be doing, and after several rounds of insults, she gets sent on an errand to go buy or find some salt and pepper shakers. This is what she is doing as a comedy writer. Tommy, what's the hack?
Take it away. Own your onboarding. So when you come into a legal department, you own who you are, what legal operations is, and how it is that you work. You do not let people tell you what legal operations is. You do not go and find salt and pepper shakers. You tell them, you go through a roadshow of like, this is what legal operations is. We're going to scale the way that legal expertise gets out to the business. Sometimes we're going to do it through interpersonal relationships. Sometimes we're going to do it through technology. Sometimes we're going to do it through influence, but all the time we're going to do it very well. And you go around, you find the people in the departments in the company that need to know who you are and how they work with you and how important you are to the legal department, and you own that, and you tell them whether or not you find the salt and pepper shakers. Very quick anecdotal story. When I once stepped into a legal ops role, I had over a decade of experience. I walked into it. A lawyer did not know what legal operations did. He asked me if I would send something for signature. I said absolutely not, and we had to describe what legal operations was. Adam, season 2. Let me take you through it. Okay, so in season 2 of the television show Hacks, Deborah has started to gain her traction as a comedian. She started to come up again because her writing's really good because of Ava, and she really measures success in the old way. Like she really, she was very old school Vegas, and she didn't know sort of the new ways of which you judged yourself, like social media, for example. Ava knew all the new stuff, Deborah knew all the old stuff. But Deborah was like, well, I think, I got a laugh and therefore that joke's really good. And Ava would be like, no, that joke was not politically correct. You can't tell that joke on stage. So what Ava was doing in the background, because she knew Deborah so well, is she was quietly collecting receipts on what works and what does not work. And then she would feed back to Deborah ways in which she should change her show because of all the data that she had. She would be like, Deborah, you're not doing that joke, you're doing that joke, this works, this does not work. This is equivalent to legal ops because
you've been here for at least a day, you know things are changing, you know that you're working in systems, or maybe not, or email, whatever you're working, you have data. You most likely have data that your teams are asking for. How many requests do we get? How many times do we hear from this? And that's all great, but you are already experts and pros, which means you know which data we may need in 6 months. And you know the best way to get that without being overly interfering with how things are done. You can peek around those corners. So the hack is to start collecting data that you might not need today, but you have a feeling or you're going to need at some point in time. Very quick story, very boring. I work at a small company. We don't have a lot of bells and whistles gadgets. One day, my GC comes back from some gathering with other GCs and says, wow, this person's really great. She knows exactly how many contracts have come in on their paper versus third-party paper. I wish we could do that. And my entire legal team said, we can. Adam's been making us track that for 2 years, and it was amazing, and he had no idea. And boom, I look great.
Amazing. Take us through what season 3 is all about, Adam.
Oh, my God. Season 3 is about The Late Show. Okay, this is where the spoilers come into effect, people. We
Cover your ears,
apologize.
or don't.
Or maybe they do, maybe they don't. Let me go through it quickly. Deborah is obsessed with getting the late night show because that is the epitome of all comedy and legal operations functions. And in order to do that, she's going to do that. There is absolutely no plan on how this is going to happen. It is a series of episodes that are completely random, involve all kinds of makeshift ideas. Hijinks ensue, and then there's, of course, this pivotal episode that takes place on a golf course as she's crashing a party. This is how she's going to get there, and nobody has any idea how this is going to work. So, without a plan, what's the legal hack?
You have to strategize your success. You cannot brute force getting to where you want to go. You cannot throw a finger to the wind and say, I think a CLM is what we need, and therefore I'm going to go do it. No. If you think a CLM is what you need to figure out, do I have budget? Have I influenced the CFO to give me money for this? Does everyone in the building understand how contracts are important, how they work? Who are my influencers in other departments? What are the stakeholders that really can help me to get something done? You can borrow from other people who have successes. When I was in legal operations and I was going to do a product rollout such as e-billing or intake or CLM, I would say, what is the way that a company does a product rollout? Like take Apple, any other company that does something. There's marketing around it. There's influence around it. There's people understand what the value is to them if this thing happens. And that's similar to what you have to do. You have to go around your business and be like, I'm going to do a thing. Maybe my product rollout is CLM, but I'm going to do something that is valuable to all of you just because I'm doing it. And you're going to understand what the value is. And so you're not going to sort of like just brute force your way through operationalizing the way the department works, but you're going to strategize what that roadmap is and what your success is. It's not going to happen by happenstance. A lot of other people, lawyers included, actually help you to get to where you need to go. So you have to have a strategy behind it and let people know what that strategy is so they can help you get there. And season 4?
Take us there.
Okay, season 4. Deborah has the late night show.
Spoiler.
Sorry, we're on season 5 by now, people. She has made it, but there's an entire ecosystem that she did not account for. There's Winnie, who seems like the decision maker, but it turns out it's really Bob, Winnie's boss, is the decision maker. So Bob has the final say. There are writers and people who are influencing more than their title suggests. There are people that are making decisions in rooms that Ava is not in. And so she has made it, and so she has gotten the job that she wanted, she actually loses it. And the reality is that there were a lot of players who had things to do with the fact that she lost out on her dream job, and she didn't quite understand why. And so, Adam, how does that relate to being in legal operations?
That happens to us all the time. Here's the reality. There is more than one org chart. There's the one that you have on the internet that tells you who reports to you who, and that's very helpful for certain things you may be doing. And then there's the org chart of influence. And that's going to change by organization, and nobody's going to give that to you. You have to decipher what that is. So if you work in a large department and you're working on some sort of contract thing, it may be that head contract lawyer over here is really besties with head litigation lawyer over here, and that's the person who's really going to help make the decision. That's what you need to figure out and bring that person along. If you work at a really small organization, it may be that finance holds the keys to headcount. It may be that people, or HR, holds the keys to God knows what systems, and it may be that IT actually decides when and what you're going to do without you knowing. And those are the org charts that you need to have in your mind where you're going to go, and in this case, get something done versus keep something, but maybe even that too. So the takeaway: know the real org chart and know the other real org chart.
That's right. Know who your people are. So this would have probably been that much more impactful if we were actually in Vegas, but okay, Chicago, we'll pretend. So Gene Smart is not with us, but you do have 4 hacks. You are going to own your onboarding.
Track before you're asked.
You're going to steal the playbook, borrow from teams who did it well, and understand that you are strategizing your success.
Know the real and the real org charts.
Thank you all.